What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I have been jumping back on Hot Pursuit 2010 after playing a bit of Unbound. I kind of went like back and forth to different Need for Speeds, but playing Hot Pursuit though gave me a pretty decent question I did want to ask everybody. What do y'all think made Hot Pursuit so dang special? Funny thing is, I'm also going to be making a video like this on other Need for Speed games and other games as well. So do stay tuned for those. But the thing is though, when I was playing Hot Pursuit, now don't get me wrong, I do understand this game is from 2010. I'm on the remastered one here on PlayStation 5. I do know this game was probably a lot different than the current Need for Speed games are, which is most likely going to be fairly obvious. But the thing is, though, jumping back into Hot Pursuit really made me think about this a lot, though. I mean, we all do know the new Need for Speed games are going to be way different than something like Hot Pursuit. You're going to have all kinds of customization. Like, let me look at Unbound for a second. You have all the crazy effects, the special sound effects you can use, all the smokes. You have new license plates on there, all kinds of crazy things. Now, don't get me wrong, that stuff is pretty dope. I do think people like the customization. We all do know the effects and all that are probably not going to be the most liked thing out there, but when playing Hot Pursuit though, I'm like, you know what, this game has something special about it. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the full-on gameplay the game actually has, which I am going to touch on that in a video, because I think we can all agree that gameplay over graphics can probably be something everybody would want. Nowadays, we tend to have games that have great graphics, but the actual gameplay is basically like biting into like a cream-filled donut, and the donut looks great. You bite into the donut, and it's basically empty, so that's unfortunate. But the thing is, though, when I was playing Hot Pursuit, I think one of the best things about this game probably comes down to the overall racing aspects it does have. Now, let me explain why I think that is, though. So when you are jumping into Hot Pursuit, you're basically going to come up to the menu, you have racing, you also can be a police officer. You have like the Hot Pursuits with a police chase, you have regular races, you have the time trials, you have like interceptor type of things, you have like the preview time trials as a police officer. So there's going to be a good amount of different things you can do in there. In this game though, you basically pick that said car, you change the color on it if it has the option, you then jump into the races, go as fast as you possibly can in there. Hypercars are going to do 240 plus miles an hour. You have like these slower like street type of vehicles, you have performance. All those cars are going to be a tad slower, a bit quicker in some places like turning and all that maybe, even though you can pretty much break the drift, which I am a fan of break the drift. You can attack me on that in the comments if you want. I'm not saying it's like the best thing for every Need for Speed game, but I think we can probably agree it did work pretty dang good in Hot Pursuit, am I right? I mean, look at the way the map's designed. It's basically designed for high-speed chases, going insanely quick, having a big open type of map area. And the funny part is there is legitimately no city in Hot Pursuit like you saw in 2012. You also had a city in 2015. You know, we also have one in Payback Heat. We have one in Unbound and stuff, but Hot Pursuit was designed for like incredibly high speed chases. And you know what though? The design of it worked in this game. Would it work in something like Unbound? Well, with how that map is designed, probably not. It is basically wanting to go as fast as you possibly can. The police are going to be chasing you on like closed type of courses in the events, and that way they can chase you. Like in that game, you'll probably be in a police chase, and then you'll finish the race. You have to go then drive free roam and all that stuff. With this game, though, all the races are going to be set there. You finish it, and that is it. There's also going to be a free driving aspect, but nothing is going to be there. You basically have like the entire map. You can explore it, drive around and stuff, which is pretty dope. But I feel like one of the biggest things for me about Hot Pursuit, which is also why I still play it, is purely going to come down to one thing, which is going to be the feeling I get when I am racing in this game. Now, I do understand players are probably going to want to have like the entire free roam aspect to a game. We all do know pretty much every new racing game in a way probably has it. We're not going to have like the closed off events, you do them, and that is basically it. The thing is though, I feel like Hot Pursuit is going to be so dang hectic at times that you're pretty much going to jump in and have like a fun adrenaline rush, pretty much driving a Bugatti or, you know, driving a Lamborghini or something, doing 200 miles an hour. You're going to have spike strips you can use. You can have EMPs and stuff like that. You can have a turbo. If you are a racer, if you're a police officer, you have like the helicopter, spike strip, EMP, roadblock, and all that stuff. But you're going to be able to go against the police. You have to get to the end of it on like a 10, 15, even 20-mile event. I feel like having the police trying to take you down, other racers hitting you, it really does get so dang intense, man. Funny part is, one of my favorite races in Hot Pursuit is also not going to be a quote-unquote Hot Pursuit event. It's going to be the Seacrest Tour. And if you've never played Hot Pursuit, or maybe you didn't fully complete it, that is the longest race in the entire game. It's going to be around 43.5 miles. You pick a hypercar, and you legitimately drive around the entire map. Here, let me go to it here, guys. All the way down on the bottom, the race is right here. Look at that. Basically goes around most of the entire map there. It's insanely fun, too. And I feel like players are probably going to jump in. You pick your favorite car. I would probably say for me, my favorite was most likely the Gumpert Apollo, the Bugatti. I would legit put on some of the music in this game, which that's the other thing. The music in Hot Pursuit is such a bop, man. I love it. We have the 30 Seconds to Mars when you load up the game. We have Chitty Bang. When you're racing to this music, man, it really just hits different. I also know that one song that's like Bigger Than Us or something like that. When you're flying down the highway in Hot Pursuit, doing 200 miles an hour, I just feel like the vibe of this game is so different. Now, this could be probably like the entire atmosphere of the game being most likely a different design than like Unbound or something. We all do know that game's going to be Chicago. Seacrest County is going to be like a fake design area or something. But then again, though, the entire map and the way this map is probably going to be designed is most likely for the gameplay itself, which I would say is going to make sense. I mean, it's not designed to be like the type of thing where you go drifting or something. You're not going to be finding these tiny roads like in Unbound doing like drift challenges. Nah, you're pretty much going to be in high-speed chases racing the entire time you're in it. So I do understand that, like, it does make sense. The only thing is, though, guys, I wanted to ask you this. Do you like the map design in Hot Pursuit, or do you prefer something in, like, Heat or Unbound? I am going to say something right now that's probably going to be a bit insane, but I do love the map in Hot Pursuit. For me, though, recent Need for Speed games, I will touch on this, by the way, in the video for that Need for Speed game, is Need for Speed Heat. I love the map on there. I do understand it wasn't perfect. Let's be honest, most of the games have their flaws and all that, but I did like the map in Heat. I do think the map in Unbound is pretty dope, but I also love the way the map flowed in Heat, and when I was playing that, I was like, you know what? I need to go back into Hot Pursuit and play this again, because something really did make this game so dang special. Playing the game for a few hours, going back and forth from regular races, doing the previews or like time trial things, then jumping into like being a police officer, it's so dang dope. The only thing is, I do not think we're ever really going to have a true, like, police mode in a new Need for Speed game. I could be wrong. Maybe Need for Speed 2026 might have it. Kind of doubtful. I don't think that's going to happen. But being able to play as a police officer in Hot Pursuit was probably one of my favorite things ever. Like, you had to jump into a race. You then had, like, 8 different racers you had to take down. You could use your spike strips, your EMPs. You can also use, like, a helicopter. You pretty much had to get all 8 racers taken down in that set event. And you guys know what's really funny about this, though, is every single racer had a certain amount of health. They did a great job with how they did it, like they didn't have too much health. If you did want to have a racer with more health, though, you simply have to do an interceptor event. The racers in there would like do legit U-turns and drive around the map everywhere. You would then have to try to wreck them. You can call in roadblocks. Like, I really did enjoy it. And what made me laugh about this, though, is I was thinking about other games when playing Hot Pursuit, which is also why I think this game is so dang special. Anybody else will probably notice how other games are still trying to do similar updates to them like Hot Pursuit. Quick example of that, I do know they were trying to bring the Hot Pursuit thing back into Unbound, but we can all agree that update was kind of a big miss with the way they did it. The racers were basically left out. It was only the police. It was super one-sided. I feel like if they had like an entire racer thing in there, that way you could do both sides instead of just police, it would have been better. But also probably would have mirrored Hot Pursuit a lot more than what it probably did in that update. We also had the lovely Chase Squad and Motorfest, which I do feel like was a big miss as well. You pretty much did like the rival thing, which reminded me heavily of the main interceptor thing from this game, where you follow them around, you wreck them. Now, I do understand, guys, if you had an interceptor type of game mode in any racing game, it is probably going to be similar to Hot Pursuit. Like, that does make sense. But then you were going to have, like, one main Hot Pursuit event in that entire playlist, to where it was only going to be the final event where you take down all the racers, and they legit drive in a small, tiny area in a town, man. Like, why not have an entire race set up? Like, if you're going to try to do something like Hot Pursuit and capture the special moments from these other games like this one, why not just try to pursue it as this game was? No pun intended, I said pursue it. And I guess a better way I probably could have said that was they probably should just Hot Pursuit it. Am I right, anyone? Yep, I'm hearing crickets in the background. But the thing is, though, if some of these games weren't as special as they currently were, or still are for that matter, I mean, heck, man, they actually remastered Hot Pursuit. Doesn't that make it special? Now, I do understand the older games probably haven't been remastered, whether it's going to be the game engine or some type of weird thing, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below on that stuff. But they did end up remastering Hot Pursuit because this game was legitimately that popular. Funny part is, it still is pretty dang popular, and games are still trying to take notes from this one when trying to make like their designs of them. We all do know they were trying to do like the Hot Pursuit thing in Unbound. I do know they did like a Most Wanted type of thing in there, like the themes and all that makes sense. But when you see other games like Motorfest when they try to do the Chase Squad thing, it's like, you know what, I see what you all were trying to do and I see how this could have been, but when you go back and play a real game based on police and also racers like Hot Pursuit, you can kind of tell how the other updates in these other games feel like afterthoughts, or they might have rushed it, they probably didn't really think it out enough to do it, and that way they probably could have been so much better. And that was also something I was thinking about a lot with Hot Pursuit, man. Like, if you look at something like even Motorfest or Need for Speed Unbound, you can even compare something like Forza to this, which I do understand they are completely different. But the thing is, though, guys, if you look at Hot Pursuit, this game is also way different than those. There's not going to be any insane customization, right? You can't do wheels. You can't change anything on your car besides, like, a color on some of them. You can't add body kits, no customization, no smokes, no, like, special tires. There's not going to be, like, vanities, nothing. This game is basically fully gameplay, or at least you're looking to have a good racing experience in it, which I really do think it completely nailed in every single way. Whether it's going to be in an actual race with like regular cars, or you want to be a police, either way is going to be insanely fun with different experiences. And I really do think that is something that made Hot Pursuit so dang special, and that is also probably why I jump on a Hot Pursuit, do some races on this game, play as like a police officer, because when I was doing that, wrecking the race, was having a great time with it, using the weapons, because I do feel like the weapons in this game were balanced. If it wasn't something like Rivals, to where some of the weapons were insane, I am going to be doing a similar video on that game, so do stay tuned for it. But the thing is, though, I would play the game mode in Unbound, I'd jump on Motorfest, and I would go, you know what, I want to play the real Hot Pursuit. This is what I feel like this should have been like, and I really do feel like it was nailed so dang well, which is also why Hot Pursuit is still so dang special in so many ways. Do let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you still play Hot Pursuit? Is this one of your favorite racing games ever? And this is also why I think this game was most likely remastered, because, well, everybody seemed to love the design of it, the way the whole game flowed, and basically everything about it.